The Behavioral Code. The story of Jamie Flood. Jamie Flood was a man of quiet brilliance, a developer whose affinity for technology was matched only by his love for animals. At 35, he had already made significant strides in the field of artificial intelligence, particularly in behavioral recognition systems. His reputation for innovation had caught the attention of a group of investors who were keen on exploring new frontiers in AI. And it wasn't long before they approached him with a proposition that would change his life. Jamie lived in a modest, contemporary home in the suburbs, a place that had become more of a lab than a living space over the years. His love for technology was evident in every corner of the house: smart devices, custom-built gadgets, and servers humming softly in a room he had designated as his control center. Yet, despite the modern trappings, his home was warm and inviting, largely because of the presence of his two beloved pets, Max, an exuberant Labrador retriever, and Whiskers, a serene Siamese cat. The project proposed by the investors was both intriguing and ambitious. They were developing a new type of AI capable of understanding and predicting the behaviors of household pets. The goal was to create a system that could monitor, learn from, and eventually interact with animals in a way that was almost human. It was a leap forward from the simple smart pet devices on the market, a system that could understand pets on an emotional and behavioral level. Jamie was fascinated by the idea. It was a challenge that perfectly combined his technical skills and his affection for animals. The investors were enthusiastic and well-funded, but they were also secretive. They provided Jamie with a high-tech TV as part of the project's initial setup. This was no ordinary television. Embedded within it were 3 state-of-the-art cameras designed to be completely undetectable. The investors had chosen Jamie's living room as the primary testing ground. It was a space where both Max and Whiskers naturally spent a lot of time, making it the ideal location for the cameras to observe and learn from their daily activities. The TV appeared just like any other, sleek and modern, but with the hidden cameras strategically positioned to capture every angle of the room. The investors assured Jamie that the cameras were equipped with advanced AI capable of learning and evolving over time. But they needed raw data to build their behavioral models, data that Jamie's pets would provide. Jamie agreed to the terms of the project, understanding that his role would be to perform various scenarios prescribed by the investors, allowing the AI to learn and refine its algorithms. He was eager to get started, seeing this as an opportunity to be at the forefront of a technological revolution. The first few weeks were about getting everything set up. Jamie spent hours configuring the system, ensuring the cameras were capturing high-quality footage and that the data was being processed correctly. The TV was connected to a secure server that the investors had set up, where all the data would be stored and analyzed. Jamie's role was primarily hands-on, interacting with Max and Whiskers, according to the scenarios provided by the investors. These scenarios were designed to elicit specific behaviors: joy, curiosity, fear, and aggression, among others. Max, with his boundless energy and affectionate nature, was an open book of emotions, while Whiskers, with her aloof demeanor, presented more of a challenge. The AI needed to learn how to interpret these behaviors accurately, which was no small task. At times, the AI would misinterpret Max's playful growling as aggression or mistake Whiskers' watchful stare for disinterest. But as the days passed, the AI began to improve, learning to recognize the subtle nuances of their behavior. Jamie's home life became increasingly intertwined with the project. His interactions with Max and Whiskers were no longer just about companionship. They were experiments. Every wag of Max's tail, every twitch of Whiskers' ears was data for the AI to process. Jamie found himself following a daily routine dictated not by his own needs, but by the project's requirements. He would wake up, review the day's prescribed scenarios, and then spend hours engaging his pets in activities designed to teach the AI. Despite the growing intrusion of technology into his personal life, Jamie remained committed. The project was yielding results. The AI was becoming more adept at recognizing and predicting behaviors. It could now distinguish between Max's different barks, one for excitement, another for a warning. It could detect the slight change in Whiskers' posture when she was about to pounce versus when she was merely stretching. But as the AI improved, so did the demands of the investors. They wanted more data, more complex scenarios. They began introducing situations that pushed the boundaries of what Jamie was comfortable with. One day, they asked him to simulate a situation where Max was left alone for hours, observing how he would react to abandonment. Another time, they instructed Jamie to create a stressful environment for Whiskers to see how she would cope. Jamie complied, but the ethical implications weighed heavily on him. Max and Whiskers were more than just subjects to him, they were his companions. The project, which had started as an exciting challenge, was beginning to feel like an invasion, not just of his privacy, but of the bond he shared with his pets. The investors, however, were relentless. They saw the potential in what they were building and were willing to push the limits to achieve their vision. For them, the end goal was clear: a commercial product that could revolutionize pet care, offering insights and predictions that no other device could match. But for Jamie, the project was becoming a moral quandary. He was torn between his passion for innovation and his responsibility to the creatures that trusted him. As Jamie settled into the routine of the project, the early days of training were a mix of excitement and frustration. Each day brought new scenarios and challenges, designed by the investors to push the AI's learning capabilities. Jamie would play games with Max, trying to evoke specific emotions or behaviors, while Whiskers would be coaxed into different activities that would help the AI distinguish between her moods. At first, the AI struggled. It had difficulty distinguishing between similar behaviors. Max's playful growling was often misinterpreted as aggression, and Whiskers' aloofness was sometimes mistaken for fear. But Jamie was patient. He knew that teaching an AI to understand something as complex as animal behavior would take time. He spent hours reviewing the data, tweaking the algorithms, and repeating scenarios until the AI began to show signs of improvement. Slowly but surely, the AI cameras began to learn. They could now recognize Max's excitement when Jamie picked up his leash, the subtle way his tail would wag in anticipation. They could also identify when Whiskers was in the mood to play versus when she wanted to be left alone. The progress was slow, but it was there, and it was enough to keep Jamie motivated. Despite the initial challenges, Jamie was encouraged by the AI's development. It was learning to interpret the complex signals that animals give off, and Jamie knew that this was the key to unlocking the technology's full potential. The investors, too, were pleased with the progress, though they were constantly pushing for more. They wanted the AI to not only recognize behaviors, but to predict them with a high degree of accuracy. As the project continued, Jamie began to experience both progress and setbacks. The AI cameras were becoming increasingly sophisticated, able to recognize and predict behaviors with surprising accuracy. But with this progress came new challenges. One major setback occurred when the AI failed to recognize a key behavior in Whiskers. The investors had instructed Jamie to simulate a scenario where Whiskers was left alone for an extended period. They wanted to see how the AI would interpret her behavior during and after the isolation. Jamie followed the instructions, but the AI misinterpreted Whiskers' reaction. Instead of recognizing her anxiety, the AI classified her behavior as mere curiosity. The investors were disappointed, and Jamie was left questioning whether the AI would ever truly understand the complexities of animal emotions. Despite this setback, Jamie remained committed to the project. He knew that failures were part of the learning process, both for him and for the AI. He continued to refine the algorithms, working tirelessly to improve the AI's ability to recognize and predict behaviors. The investors, though frustrated by the occasional missteps, were still confident in the project's potential. They provided Jamie with additional resources, allowing him to enhance the AI's capabilities even further. As the months turned into years, Jamie found himself at a crossroads. The AI cameras had evolved beyond anything he could have imagined, but so too had the ethical implications of the project. Jamie was faced with a choice: continue down the path laid out by the investors, or take a stand and protect the integrity of the bond he shared with his pets. The breakthrough moments came unexpectedly. After months of refining the AI's algorithms, Jamie began to see significant improvements. The AI was no longer just recognizing behaviors. It was predicting them with startling accuracy. It could sense when Max was about to become anxious long before Jamie noticed any signs. It could tell when Whiskers was about to engage in play or retreat to her favorite hiding spot. These breakthroughs were exciting, but they also brought new challenges. The AI's predictions were so accurate that they began to feel almost intrusive. Jamie started to wonder if the AI was learning too much, becoming too attuned to the subtle cues of his pets. It was as if the AI was no longer just observing, but also influencing the behaviors it was designed to monitor. The investors were thrilled with the progress. They saw the potential for a product that could revolutionize not just pet care, but also other areas such as child monitoring, elder care, and security systems. They began to push Jamie to explore these new avenues, to see how far the technology could go. But Jamie was hesitant. He was beginning to see the dangers of such powerful AI, especially if it fell into the wrong hands. As the project advanced, Jamie found himself grappling with ethical dilemmas that he had never anticipated. The investors were pushing for more invasive scenarios, wanting to test the AI's limits. They proposed experiments that made Jamie uncomfortable, scenarios that seemed to prioritize data collection over the well-being of his pets. One day, the investors asked Jamie to simulate a highly stressful situation for Max, instructing him to create an environment that would provoke anxiety in the dog. Jamie was torn. He knew that the data would be valuable for the AI's learning process, but he also knew that it would be unfair to put Max through such an ordeal. Jamie ultimately decided to go along with the investors' demands. But the experience left him deeply troubled. He began to question the project's direction and the motives of the investors. Were they truly interested in improving the lives of pets and their owners? Or were they more concerned with profit? The more Jamie thought about it, the more he realized that the project was straying from its original purpose. The ethical dilemmas weighed heavily on Jamie. He was passionate about the potential of the technology, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He started to wonder if the project was crossing a line, if the AI was becoming something more than just a tool for observation. It was learning, adapting, and influencing the world around it in ways that Jamie hadn't anticipated. As the years passed, the project reached a critical juncture. The AI cameras had surpassed all expectations, not only recognizing, but predicting complex behaviors in Jamie's pets with an accuracy that was almost unnerving. The investors were ecstatic. They saw the potential for a revolutionary product, something that could redefine pet care and even extend into other areas of life. However, Jamie's unease had also grown. The more advanced the AI became, the more it felt like the technology was treading into dangerous territory. The scenarios prescribed by the investors became increasingly invasive, pushing Jamie to test the limits of his pet's behaviors. He began to wonder about the true intentions of the investors. Were they interested in improving the lives of pets and their owners, or were they simply looking to exploit this technology for profit? But Jamie also realized that the technology, if guided responsibly, could be incredibly beneficial. It could help pet owners understand their animals better, prevent behavioral issues, and even improve the welfare of pets around the world. It was a tool with immense potential for good, if used correctly. One night, after a particularly intense day of testing, Jamie sat alone in his living room. Max lay at his feet, his tail gently thumping against the floor, while Whiskers curled up on the armrest of the couch, watching him with her keen eyes. The room was silent except for the soft hum of the TV, its hidden cameras recording every moment. Jamie looked at his pets and felt a deep pang of guilt. They had been with him through everything, loyal and trusting, completely unaware of the complex ethical dilemma unfolding around them. He knew that he couldn't let the investors have full control over the technology. It was too powerful, too easy to misuse. But at the same time, he couldn't deny the good it could do. The decision weighed heavily on him. The investors were pressuring him to sign off on the final phase of the project, which would involve commercializing the AI cameras and expanding their application to other markets. Jamie was at a crossroads. He could either walk away, leaving the project in the hands of those who might not have the same ethical considerations, or he could try to steer the technology towards a more responsible future. In the end, Jamie made a choice. He contacted the investors and laid out his concerns. He argued that while the technology was promising, it needed to be handled with care. He proposed a partnership one where he would stay involved, helping to guide the development of the AI to ensure it was used ethically and responsibly. The investors were initially resistant. They were business people, focused on the potential profits, but Jamie's passion and his deep understanding of the technology eventually convinced them. They agreed to his terms. Jamie would continue to work on the project, but with a greater focus on ethical considerations and user safety. The final days of the project were a whirlwind of activity. Jamie worked closely with a team of experts to ensure that the AI cameras would be used in a way that truly benefited users without crossing ethical lines. They implemented strict guidelines and safeguards to prevent misuse. The technology was still groundbreaking, but now it was tempered by a set of principles designed to protect privacy and autonomy. As the project moved towards commercialization, Jamie felt a sense of relief. He had managed to find a balance between innovation and responsibility. The AI cameras would soon be available to the public, but they would be released with careful consideration of their potential impact. The AI cameras launched with great fanfare. They quickly became a popular tool for pet owners, offering insights into their pets' behaviors that were previously impossible to obtain. The technology helped countless people understand and care for their pets in ways they never imagined. But the success of the product was only part of the story. Jamie remained involved in the project, not just as a developer, but as an advocate for ethical AI. He spoke at conferences, published papers, and worked with organizations to ensure that AI technologies were developed and used in ways that respected privacy and human dignity. He became a leading voice in the field, known not just for his technical expertise, but for his commitment to responsible innovation. The investors, too, saw the wisdom in Jamie's approach. The AI cameras were a success, but they also became a case study in how to balance technological advancement with ethical considerations. Other companies began to adopt similar practices, leading to a broader movement towards responsible AI. Max and Whiskers, meanwhile, continued to live their lives, blissfully unaware of the role they had played in a technological revolution. To them, Jamie was just the man who fed them, played with them, and made sure they were happy. And for Jamie, that was more than enough. As the years passed, the AI cameras became a ubiquitous part of modern life, used not just for pets, but in a variety of applications. Jamie's work had laid the foundation for a new era of AI, one that was powerful, yes, but also compassionate and human-centered. Looking back, Jamie knew that he had made the right decision. The project had its challenges, but in the end, it had led to something truly meaningful. The technology was in the right hands, and its legacy would be one of positive impact. Jamie Flood's name became synonymous with ethical AI, and his story was one that inspired a generation of developers to think not just about what they could build, but about how and why they were building it. It was a legacy he was proud of, and one that would endure for years to come.